Hey guys, it's me the Mayor again, and today I have the Cold Steel SRK, a popular blade used by campers, survivalists, and tactical operators worldwide. This Cold Steel SRK features 6 inches of carbon 5 steel, fully encapsulated tang, craton handle, also features a brass rivet loop. That's pretty cool. Also, this blade is made in the US of A. The Cold Steel SRK in carbon 5 steel is around 0.22 inches thick, and for our European friends on the other side of the globe, it is around 5.6 millimeters. Well, some first thoughts on the Cold Steel SRK. It's definitely a no frills, no thrills survival knife that looks really similar to the Falcon Ivan A1 knife. Now this one has a craton handle, which is really grippy, a small guard when used with a hammer fist. Definitely hammer grip. I mean, it's not going to slip out of your hand. 6-inch blade, perfect size for just about anything you could need. And on top of that, the steel carbon 5 is actually a really good steel. This is an older Cold Steel SRK. Now, it does not have the factory sharpness anymore. It has been used and abused. An edge was put on this knife that's actually pretty sharp. So let's go and see how sharp it actually is. Now remember, safety first. You don't want paper confetti in the eye. A little bit of some hesitation there. There we go. All right. Now, it did tear a little bit, but I will say that it actually took a pretty good edge after it was resharpened. Now, first up in our testing, phase 1, is the tip test. I believe that every knife should have a very strong tip, and a good way to test that is the tip test. I'll be stabbing this tip into this. What is this? Oh, that's right, I forgot to mention to y'all guys. Man is actually an organ donor, and he donated his zombified head for us to test the tip on. Now I'll tell you what, remember, safety first, my friends. Man agrees, safety first, because this tip could break off and get you right in the eye. I'll be striking here with the tip and prying left and right, about a total of 5 times. And 5. Wow. No tip deformation whatsoever. On the next step on phase 1, we will have the tinder test, or feather stick test if you prefer. Now remember, safety first, my friends. Nobody wants to splinter to the eye, that's for sure. That really hurts, and it might get infected, so it kind of stinks. We'll try a chopping motion first. Definitely, this blade has some pretty good heft to it. Let's try a shaving motion. Wow, would you look at that right there? This is actually really excellent for starting fires. Next up, we have the ferro rod test. Can the SRK make some nice sparks for the fire? Now remember, magnesium shavings burn at 5400 degrees, so definitely safety first. Molten steel in the eye is a definite no-no. Let's try the spine of the knife first. Now the coating on the blade is actually, this coating right here, it's preventing it from making a lot of sparks. Let's try the false edge over here on the top of the clip point. There we go. This false edge up here definitely was able to make some sparks off of that ferro rod. Now on the next portion of the test, we have the chopping test. we'll be testing the chopping ability of the Cold Steel SRK on a piece of 2x4 white pine from our friends up north. Definitely, thanks Canadians, all guys are outstanding gents, definitely. I'll have to be using all of my Arnie strength to be able to get through this because of the 6-inch blade. I recommend that if you're going to be using a blade as a chopper for small limbs, definitely at least 9 inches long. Now, some people say, oh, I can get by with a 6 or a 7, but it's not very efficient. Just in my eyes, I've done it plenty of times. Definitely, for me, 9 inches of blade meat is actually required for me. Now, remember, in a pinch, this could get you by to survive. So, as always, safety first, my friends. You don't want to get a log stuck in your eye. Believe me, when a little piece of wood's in your eye, it definitely feels like a log. Here we go. Come on, we got to beat Mr. Freeze. We're going to freeze to death. Come on. Got to make wood for the fire. Little Jimmy. Come on, that's Mr. Freeze's. That's Mr. Freeze's worst nightmare. A nice hot fire. Now, it would be a shame if I didn't finish it off, so let's keep going. Meow! Could not withstand my muscles. Meow! Let's go ahead and get this baby 2x4 out of here. I mean, to be honest, it's not even tough enough for my tests. So let's go ahead and step it up a notch to phase 2. Phase 2, we have the edge retention test. I'll be striking this edge here on this heavyweight concrete block. We'll see how sharp the edge stays after cutting into a lime rind, and I will be able to give my opinion about how jaggedy or how smooth it is to cut this lime in half. Now remember, safety first, my friends. Definitely, sparks will fly. Be striking here. We struck right here. A lot of hesitation, but it is going through. And there we have it, right there. Now the edge, right here, is a little wavy gravy, but it actually was pretty solid and it held up. Here's where the edge, right here, struck this heavyweight concrete block, and there are some very small microchips, but it did not affect the cutting power much, and on top of that, the blade is not compromised, so we can keep going with our tests. Next up, we have a very controversial test, the brick test. I'll be striking the spine of this knife on this brick, and I will cut it right in half, hopefully without the blade shattering. Now this brick, it's actually got a special story to it. A lot of hunting on eBay, believe me. I finally found the legendary brick, one out of 4,200 bricks made for the 3 Little Pigs, that legendary story. That wolf, he could not blow it down. I'll tell you what, that house was finally vacated. Those pigs were out of there. And they actually sold each brick by brick. They sold it. I picked this one up for about, let me see, maybe $10,500 US, so it wasn't too bad, but it is a legendary brick. This is a legendary knife. Let's put it to a test and see if this will blow this brick down. Now remember, safety first, my friends. Definitely. Stones in the eye really hurt. Come on, hit it harder, you baby. Wow. Look at that. Even this ancient aliens design brick could not withstand the power of the Cold Steel SRK. Now let's go ahead and get these bricks out here. They could not even withstand the blowing power of the SRK. Definitely not. Let's just get them out of there. Step it up a notch. to the construction cinder block. Definitely really tough. And I'll tell you what, it's used around the world to make some really strong structures. Now remember, very dangerous. Do not try this at home. I repeat, don't try this at home, my friends. And safety first. Some of you are starting to complain. What's wrong, guys? You think the tests, they all look the same? Of course they look the same, because they're all brutal! Meow! Get some pommel strikes in for some fun. Well, that craton grip doesn't really do a good pommel strike. Cream gravy. After all those strikes on the cinder block and the brick, the knife is pretty much unscathed. Now it does have a lot of that powder all over it, but I'll tell you what, there's no movement in the handle or the blade. You can see no gap there between the grip, and I'll tell you what, it still feels pretty solid. So we're going to go to the final part of our testing. The Cold Steel SRK just plowed through phase 1 and phase 2. Now for phase 1, I forgot to give it a rating earlier, but I will say that it came out with an A-. Phase 2, I will say it came out with around an A- as well, because of the small chips that formed when it struck that heavyweight concrete block. Let's go ahead and get these out of the way here. Get that center block out of the way. And on phase 3, to start off, metal on metal penetration. The tip will be penetrating into this 50 cal GI ammo can, very tough steel, and we will see how effortless it is to go all the way through. Now remember, extremely dangerous test. Safety first, my friends. Do not try this one at home. Getting tetanus in the eye is very bad. Definitely not. You definitely don't want that. So you notice I'm wearing some really thick gloves here, repelling gloves actually. And here we go. I'll be penetrating right here where it says blank. Maximum penetration. That tip did not even take any damage whatsoever. It's still really sharp. My finger grabs on it, the skin, it actually goes underneath my skin. And so this blade is definitely a performer at penetration. Next up we have the standing test. I'll be hammering this SRK into this 4x6 right here. I've marked it off at 2 inches of penetration depth, and after I hammer it in, I'll actually be standing on it with all my weight. Now, this will test a lot of aspects of the knife. First, the shock absorptions from the hammering process are really stressful on metal. On top of that, you know, the lateral bending of the blade with my weight on it will definitely be a really great test to see if it can withstand the mare's weight. Now remember, safety first, my friends. Definitely. And do not try this at home. I'm a trained knife heavyweight professional. Now that craton handle actually makes it a little bit more difficult, but I've hammered it in. Let's try it out. Right on this side. Now the blade still looks very straight. I don't think it's bent at all. From what I can see, it looks straight as an arrow. And on top of that, the handle, I have not felt any separation whatsoever. Now the back end, where I was hammering, feels I've got a slight wobble, but the tang does not extend all the way, to the very end of the craton. It goes to right here where this lanyard loop is. And so to me, it's not really a big concern, and the knife does not seem compromised, so we'll be going to the final part of our test. Last, we have the pull-up test. I'll be doing pull-ups on this blade to finally see if it can withstand the mare's ultimate strength. I know it's kind of a far stretch of a joke there, but definitely very dangerous test. Do not try this at home. I am a trained mare Fuglycool pull-up specialist. Here we go. Locking the blade in. 1 pull-up, 2 pull-ups, 3 pull-up, 4 pull-ups, and 5 mare Fuglycool pull-ups. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Alright guys and gals, well, there you have it. The Cold Steel SRK has passed the mare Fuglycool test with flying colors. Definitely awesome blade. I like it a lot. The handle, the craton non-slip, that diamond pattern, awesome. Definitely. Lindsey Thompson, you are an awesome guy. You made a really awesome knife. Now, of course, also, I think the designers of this knife, I think it's real no nonsense. And on top of that, it's no frills, no thrills. But I will say that it is really close to that Falcon knife in A1. Not sure if the design was looked at and copied, but I'll tell you what, in its own right, the Carbon 5 SRK is a very, very durable and tough blade for anything that you would need during a survival situation. I will say, if this blade was a little bit longer, of course it would change up the design, but it would be an excellent chopper if it was just a couple of inches longer, about 2 inches longer. Now, thanks to Vance. Vance is a real cool guy. He actually donated his personal Cold Steel SRK to be used in this test. Thanks a lot, Vance. You're a really awesome guy, and you helped out the mare Fuglycool channel. You can buy these for around $100 on online. They're not too expensive, and I'll tell you what, it'll probably last you a lifetime. Now remember, if you like this video, like it. Hit the like button. Say, Mare Fuglycool, I love you a lot. You're an awesome guy. Like them helps me get to the top of the YouTube charts. Now, if you don't like my video, you can also dislike it, and tell me why you disliked it in the comment box below. Tell me, Mare Fuglycool, I hate you. You beat up a collector's blade, or oh, you got me all riled up. That's my favorite knife. Go ahead. Believe me, tell me why you don't like this test. Of course, if you curse or call me out, you will probably get banned from the channel. Cursing, I don't tolerate. Definitely not. It's an all audience type of event, so definitely I want it to be open to everyone. Now remember, subscribe. If you subscribe to the Mare Fuglycool channel, you see all the cool stuff as soon as it comes out, straight to your smartphone, tablet, PC, Android, Apple Watch, anything. I'll tell you what, you can see all my shisha action directly to your computer. Now remember guys, definitely these tests are extremely dangerous. Do not try this at home, and I test this stuff right here, so you don't have to. Alright guys, well, that's the Mare. Thanks for watching.